And I'm Jen.
And this is our top 100, number 1 to number 10.
Number 10 and number 1.
Number 10 to 1. Whatever. Our top 10 all-time board games.
Yes. Now, it's interesting. So we just did a tag game, board game tag, whatever it's called, video. And I was saying, like, a lot of them, when I stop and think, like, well, what's my favorite fantasy-themed game? The answer's obvious, right? But the way I did my top 100 is I did the Pub Meeple, and I did do some manual manipulation, but I let it tell me what I was actually more in the mood to play instead of me thinking, well, that's my favorite game. And so it's different. And that's why Gloomhaven was at number 11, right?
Yeah.
So my top 10 is actually really interesting to me. They were games that when we did the list were the games I wanted to play more than anything else. And I mean,
sense.
they kind of remain that. So,
yeah.
All right.
I was much more straightforward. These are my favorite games. All right. Number 10. Who's first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Number 10 is Aeon's End.
Woo!
This is down 8. It was at number 2 before. I still really, really, really love this game. This is a game that, I mean, back when you were healthy, we would sit down and play this like for 8 hours straight.
Absolutely.
We can't do that anymore, but we still really love it. We recently played through the Legacy campaign. I didn't like it as much as I like the straight up Aeon's End, but it was still excellent. But I think that also might contribute to why it fell a little bit. But it's still like card drafting, deck building. You don't shuffle your deck, so you have to like buy them and use them very carefully to make sure that your deck shows up in the order you need it to show up in. And you're fighting a lot of little monsters to get to the big bad. And it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, there were so many games that we just like, you know, would get walloped die really quickly. But I like that about it because it makes us want to go back and try again. When you finally win, it's like, yeah, we beat the monster. Yeah. So Aeon's End is my number 10.
Good choice. Well, my number 10, let's go full-on fangirl on Mars from Vital Lacerda.
Woo!
All right, I'm a big Vital Lacerda fan. See the other video to see me fangirl out about it. But On Mars is fantastic. I love the overall mechanism where you either are in the space station above the planet or on the planet, and your actions that you get to do depend on which spot you're in.
Yeah.
So you're either orbiting the planet or you're on the planet, and you get to do different actions depending on where you are. Such a cool concept. Plus, the game is just fantastic. It's, of course, Vital Lacerda, super complex. It actually was very hard for me to learn with my illness and my brain fog issues. But it was so fun once I learned it.
Yes, that I agree. That is a wonderful game.
Yeah. So my number 10 is Vital Lacerda on Mars.
All right. My number 9 is new to the list, and it's by a designer who has really risen to be probably in my top 3. Not probably, definitely in my top 3. And my top 3 just rotates between these 3 depending on what I'm playing, I think. And that is Forum Trajanum by Stefan Feld.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a typical Feld. It's got a lot of different paths to victory, a lot of different things you can do. There's sort of like a central board where you're all putting down buildings and trying to get like area majority. And then you've got your own area where you're trying to build buildings as well. It's got a little bit of card drafting. So at the beginning of the round, you're like picking 2 cards, which are going to tell you like, you've got a grid, which row and column you can pick from.
Oh, that's right.
And that's really strategic because sometimes it's not just about, especially with 2 players, it's not just about what do you need, it's about what your opponent needs and thinking about whether or not you want to keep that. So there's just so many different layers of strategy in this. It's just really, really clever, thinky. There's different scoring tiles for each game, so it's going to add some variability there. Really just love this game. And it's not hideously ugly. Which for the old Felds is saying something.
Yeah. The old Felds have that issue, those issues.
Yeah. All right, so that is my number 9, Forum Trajanum.
All right, well, my number 9 is new to my list, and it's a farming game, primarily, and that is Clans of Caledonia.
Oh, wow.
really high.
Really high.
I'm surprised by how high this is. I really enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just surprised. It just came out this high. And it's just such a fun game. I love how you kind of have to do this two-part thing where you have to get like the cows and then build the dairy to get cheese. Or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then you have to farm and then build the distillery to get whiskey. And stuff like that. Really good. And it's just a really cool game. The mechanism where if I build adjacent to you, I can use your buildings next to me at a discounted rate is really interesting. And I'm really terrible at planning it out well.
I know.
I just am. But it's a really cool mechanism. And I really like that. So Clans of Caledonia has a lot to offer. It's a pretty tight game. It's hard to do a lot. But if you're good at it, you can do a lot. So it's such a tricky game, trying to get as many squeeze as many turns out as possible. It's like, I'm running low on money, but if I make this trade and close this out, I get 20 more coins. And, you know, like...
I love that in a game. Yeah,
it's really neat. So really love this game, and that is Clans of Caledonia, number 9.
Yeah, that was my 19th, so way out there. And I want to comment, like, you're right, that is something to me that's really interesting, is when you have a game that's not about how many turns you take, it's about how much you can do in a round based on the resources, getting the most out of your resources. That is really satisfying. That's a really satisfying way to play a game.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have a good round and you're like, man, I should just eke out all those extra turns.
Yep.
Okay. My number 8, thank you, is up to, I had to figure out which column was saying what.
Oh, yeah.
From 2022, and that is A Feast for Odin. And
Nice.
I was throwing with the Norwegians expansion.
Definitely.
I won't say whether this is my highest UA, but it's pretty darn high. And I really, it's one of those games when we first learn it, right? You're like, holy cow, there are 6,000 spaces on this board. This is complicated. Oh my God. But it's really not. Once you get the hang of it, you know, it sort of all falls in a line. Like all these are just crafting, and it's about whether or not, you know, you have a little or
even though there's a gazillion options, they're very linear.
Yeah.
It's a very linear play. I think that helps.
Yeah. And you are trying to fill up your board and potentially an island board with goods to cover the negative spaces. Sometimes it feels like that there's no way that's going to happen. That's absolutely impossible. And then there've been games where I've ended with like more than I needed to cover, right? I love the fact that you can choose the strength of your action based on the number of meeples that you put down.
Yep.
So you could do a really strong action, but it might take 4 of your meeples. And if it's not at the end of the game, 4 meeples is a lot to spend on one turn. Like, I almost never want to spend 4 meeples to do anything. And it's got, you know, all the Uwe wonderfulness. I think this was probably his first game as he went up a level, right? He leveled up from his first set of designs and games, which I love, and into his like new era. And I think this was the first of that, but I also think it might be the crowning achievement. It is so good.
It's very good.
Yeah, really love it.
Especially with Norwegians.
Norwegians, yeah, Norwegians just adds that to it. So, and as linear as it is, there is also still a lot of variability, because you can take a lot of different paths to victory. Mm-hmm. You can get a different island. You can do sheds, is something that I don't do a lot, but you could do a lot with sheds if you chose to do sheds instead of islands.
Yep.
So just interesting. Really love this game. That is A Feast for Odin, my number 8.
Good choice. My number 8 is really a series of games, and I know this was on your list, and it is the Emerald Flame, or anything from Post Curious, but I went with the Emerald Flame as my stand-in. This is, first off, did you know there is an Emerald Flame sequel coming out?
No.
Yes. So that's very exciting.
That is.
But this is some of the best puzzle games out there is from Post Curious. They're very complicated. So if you're kind of newer to the puzzle gaming, this may not be your cup of tea.
Don't know that start there.
Yeah, I wouldn't start there, but, you know, work up to it a little bit. But it's definitely, like, the most interesting. You're doing things that are very tactile. You have to do, like, and it's not the simplest puzzles. It's like you really have to think and come up with whatever the complex as hell solution is to this puzzle, and it's just really interesting and challenging but very fun.
And the stories are complete. Yeah. The stories are really good and compelling. The Morrison Game Factory was the best story of the bunch. Yeah. But all of them had really, you know, really dense storylines. Also the tarot card one, whatever that was called.
Light in the Mist.
Light in the Mist, which is where I would start if you wanted to start.
That's a good place to start, yes.
But they all had really good stories too. Yep. So, yeah, these are excellent.
Yep. So my number 8 is these wonderful, wonderful puzzle games from Post Curious, specifically the Emerald Flame, and that's it.
All right. My number 7 is from a designer we've already seen this round.
Oh.
That is Trajan.
Oh my God, Feld.
Feld. I know. This
it's
is
Feldfest.
It is Feldfest. So what makes Trajan pop into my top 10 is the action selection mechanism, which is a Mancala. Now, there's lots of fun stuff going on the board. You know, you've got a little area exploration map up top where you're sending out your soldiers, and that you want to try to have the majority in. You're building stuff at some place. Mm-hmm. There's some card set collection where you're trying to get sets of cards to sell, and you can get lots of points if you're the first one to get a match of cards. You want to move up in the Senate so that you've got more, you know, power. All of that's great. Typical Feld, lots of stuff to do, lots of fun. But the Mancala, holy cow.
Yep.
You move your pieces around the board. So if you have 3 pieces in one spot, you move and you drop them off as you go. So you're going to go 3 spaces away.
Yep.
Which means you have to plan to have your pieces, enough spaces before the action you want to do that action.
And the right color pieces, right?
I don't even remember. Oh, no, I'll tell you about the color in a second. That's a whole other level. The color doesn't matter for just generally doing, right? Mm-hmm. But that's still so complex, is making sure that, okay, I really want to do shipping and turn these cards because I have a set of cards, and the sooner I turn them in, the more points I get. If Jane gets there before I do, I'm going to get less points. But I don't have any pieces in the right pie piece to get there, so I've got to set up just the right number of pieces to get to that spot. And then sometimes you end up with a spot that you don't want to go to that ends up with like 10 little things in it, and you've got to drop 10 around to get anywhere. And the number of pieces that you drop is the number of ticks that you move ahead on the round counter. So the round counter, which gets smaller and smaller, will only let you take drop the number of pieces, will only let you drop a certain number of pieces, both of you. So it can be really punishing and end the round quickly if you end up dropping a lot. Anyway, super complex.
That's right.
Then there's this other thing where you take these forum tiles and you put them around your Mancala, and if you get the number, or if you get the right color match in that
that's right.
That
that's
pie
what the
piece
color is.
To match the colors on the forum tile, then you get a whole bunch of points. So you've got to now think, okay, well, I want to go there, but I need green pieces there. In order to get green pieces there, first I have to deposit them before that, so that next round I can move the green pieces in there. It is so brain burny and clever, and so all of that is what drives then this game that would otherwise be a good game, but not a great game, I think. Right. But I love that Mancala mechanism. It is phenomenal. It makes the game for me. So that is Trajan from Stefan Feld. Just love this game. And it's up 11 on my list since last time.
Well, you have Trajan and Forum Trajanum in your top 100. Neither one made my top 100, but they could have. They're both high on my, esteem. Yep. I don't know why. I don't have any Feld in my top 10. I had Amsterdam at number 11. I don't know how that happened because I'm surprised by that. But anyway, I know that last time we did this, Amsterdam was higher, I think. Maybe not. No, it doesn't say it was in there. Okay. Well, anyway, my number 7 is a game that I forgot to mention when we were just doing a video about theme. And this is a historical game. And it's called The Great Wall. And this would have been a great one for that one of those categories. And The Great Wall is a fantastic game. It's got a cool worker placement mechanism going, but it's tricky where a location will have multiple worker placement spots. But if there's 3 worker placement slots and you send one there, it doesn't activate unless there's at least 2 or 3 spaces occupied, and then it activates. And then how it activates depends on how many, it's just a whole thing. And then you're trying to defend the Great Wall. So you're battling not each other, but against forces that are pushing in. So it's cooperative, but it's semi-cooperative because you're competing for the most points. And it really pulls off the semi-cooperative well. I know semi-cooperative has sort of a reputation of working and not working in certain instances, but it really works in this game. And it's just, it's an epic game, epic table presence. It's got the 3-dimensional wall, and you got all kinds of battling figures and worker placement, and it's just really interesting. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Really good choice, yeah.
So that's my number 7 is The Great Wall. Oh, and I also wanted to say that The Great Wall is new to my list and that I lied about Feld. That's all.
Okay. Okay. My number 6 was 14 in 2022. So it's up 8. And I think we might see this from you if we haven't already, and that is Edge of Darkness.
Ooh.
And Edge of Darkness is just a fantastic boss fighting battle game where you're also card crafting. And that is just, to me, I love card crafting so much. It's taking the mechanism that John DeClaire introduces in Mystic Vale. a little word helper here, of crafting these cards, right? And then it takes that and it embeds it in a full-on game, right? It is so good. And the way you...
Also epic scale.
And so you have your own, your own personal player deck that you're building. And so does your opponent, but you can draft cards to use in your hand that belong to your opponent. And the way you draft cards is also kind of interesting, is that they sort of move down a row and you have to take what's closest to you or pay. And so you don't necessarily have to take the one in front of you, but if you're going to take one later, you're paying, and that makes those more valuable. And yes.
But also, those cards either belong to you or someone else, and that affects how valuable they are to you.
Yes, yes. And there's worker placement. So you're choosing where you are going every turn to pick what you're going to do. Then you battle with a cube tower.
Yep.
With a cube tower. Dear goddess, he couldn't have shoved more into this game and made it more fun. Oh, so satisfying. Love, love, love this game. And your cards actually become the bad guy cards, right? So they are the ones that go up and sit in this 3-dimensional
But you don't
tower.
want. You don't want your cards on the tower.
You don't.
Because then they're not in play.
Right. But that's still that's part of the cleverness of it too, is that if I forget how they get up there, but if you're not careful, your cards end up as the bad guys that you have to fight, and you don't get them back until somebody defeats them. So it's just really lovely and satisfying. It's got a couple of story arcs that we have not even begun to delve into, but that you can go through. There's a book that goes with it. Just really amazing book or story. Good game. It's a game. It's a board game. Yes. I know what we're doing. That was my number 8.
6. What's happened here?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Well, my number 6 is a crossover with another game already mentioned in this video.
Oh.
And that is A Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin is one of Uwe's gems. It is a fantastic game about Vikings and feeding and food and whaling and gathering, feasting, and all this stuff. It is really fun. Love this game. I think you mentioned a lot. It is down 2 spots for me. It was number 4 last time. The one thing I did want to mention is don't underestimate the card play in this. It's actually pretty powerful. When you do it right, you can get a lot out of the card play.
Yeah, which I find harder to do online than I do.
Yeah, because I don't pay enough attention to the card details.
Yeah,
so.
I get a lot more out of this game when we play it on the table.
Absolutely.
Although I play it all the time on BGA too. So.
Yeah, but this is my number 6. It was your 8, I think.
Yeah.
Fantastic game, and so Feast for Odin, number 6.
All right. My number 5 is new to my list. We just played it, but I think it's going to stay up there. It's by another designer that, if he designed more, would easily be in like our canon of great designers, and that is Impression.
Nice.
Am I right about who designed it? It's by the designer of
Attila.
Yes, thank you.
Soji.
Yes, okay. I had a panic. I'm like, wait. It's by the designer of Ave Roma and Prehistory.
Prehistory, yep.
So, Impression is about the sort of early days invention of the printing press. I think there's a couple things about this that make me really love it. One, surprise, surprise, there's like a bunch of different things you can do on the board. It's pretty variable. You can really determine your own path in the game, right? It's not super linear. 2 is the action selection mechanism. So you can only move your piece a couple of spaces unless you've got a special power. And then you start at the top of it and then move to the bottom of it. And so the top is the really powerful action. The bottom is a little bit less powerful. And then you have to sort of reset. And it feels at first like you think like resetting, picking up your pieces, getting them like back to like 0, whatever, is going to be punishing, but it's not, because you get stuff out of that, right? You get to do, I think, the bottom action of both pieces when you take that reset action.
Right.
And at first, a lot of times when it's like, oh, this action, you're going to have to pick up your cards or do something to reset. In a lot of games, that is actually sort of a lost turn. And so you've got to be very careful about when you do it. That's not here. There was really a strategy to deciding, okay, well, I want to reset because I will get resources that I need from resetting, right? Which is amazing. And then there's also an assembly line, which is super cool. And you are actually literally pushing like the pieces through your assembly line to create these manuscripts that people will buy. It's a chunky, heavy, beautiful, highly thematic Euro game. It's everything we love. And it's about the printing press, the early days of the printing press. I mean, what is not to love? This one, it was so well done. It sounds like obviously this is going to be a great game for you, but it's the devil's in the details, right? And he really manages to just design an elegant game that's really satisfying with lots of decision space.
Definitely a very complex game, and not for the light gamers, but fantastic. It was a crossover. I had it at like 89, which is surprisingly low for me, because I have his games throughout my top 100, Ave Roma, Prehistory, Impression. They're all fantastic.
Cult of the New for me.
Yeah.
We just played it, but also like
I just had the Great Wall, and I had Clans of Caledonia. They're both new to me, so we both have that. So
and I love the theme of Impression, so that is my number 5.
My number 5 is down 3 spots. Yep, and it's Gloomhaven.
All right, it stayed pretty far up.
Yep. Obviously, I don't know if you've mentioned it yet. I can't remember, but it is a fantastic game. We're playing Frosthaven right now, but we just started. We kind of got stalled out because of travel and sickness and stuff. But we're just yesterday got it back to the table, so exciting. I think I'm gonna like Frosthaven more, but it's still so new that it's hard to say. And still getting used to like the outpost phase and stuff, which is a whole new thing. But Gloomhaven is just like, it's like kind of like D&D dungeon crawl, really fun with really interesting races and character types and
Yeah.
really amazing card play. The card play is fantastic.
Love it.
You have each card has a top and a bottom, and you have to pick 2 cards. And first off, you have initiative on the card, determines when you go in the round. But then, so you're choosing your cards based on that, but then you're choosing your cards based on the fact that you have to use the top of one and the bottom of the other. And so you really want to get as much synergy as possible, or there's like elements. So maybe on this round, I'm trying to release some wind. Sorry about that. And next round, I want to use that, consume that wind to do more with my action. So really cool.
Yeah, I think, so Frosthaven was, or whatever, the pair were my number 11.
Okay.
But I think it will move back up into the top 10 the more we play Frosthaven.
Right.
I'm really enjoying it. I love the whole thing. Love it. The whole experience is wonderful.
So my number 5 is a fantastic game that, epic game, Gloomhaven.
All right. My number 4 is in the exact same spot it was in 2022. So everybody knows what it is. Just kidding. You don't even remember.
Nope.
And that is Wingspan.
All right, woo!
Woo! I really absolutely love this game. I think Wormspan will be in my top 100.
That was my bird impression in case you couldn't figure it out.
Oh, I can't wait till Wormspan comes to BGA.
Oh yeah, I hope it does.
I hope it does too. But I really love Wingspan. I love the theme. I love birds. Absolutely have my whole life. And I used to love the bird books. My mother had a bird book, and I remember going through that with her and like looking up what we saw in the backyard. The cards in the game the art is sort of like based on those bird books. So you've got the little map of its range, and you've got what it eats, and other interesting facts about its wingspan, right? How many centimeters its wingspan is. You're building a tableau in one of 3 habitats, and then to do an action, you send one of your cubes to one of the habitats, and you can either get food, you can lay eggs, or you can get cards. But what gets really interesting is as you build your tableau, the birds themselves that you put down in the habitat have powers on them. So as your cube moves backwards, it's activating those powers. And those powers are really highly thematic. So as I mentioned in another video we did today, the brown-headed cowbird lays its eggs in another nest. Right. And so the special
in another bird's
nest, right? So the powers that the bird has are related to real world, what that bird does.
Exactly.
And there are so many, there's like 4 different versions of the game now with different, like there's Oceania, Europe, Asia.
Yeah, all kinds of expansions.
And so we have all of those, and we mix them all in and play them all. But I absolutely adore this game. It's a comfort food game for me at this point in a lot of ways. I don't have to think about what I'm doing, although it can be really, like, the strategy varies from game to game, depending on the in-game round goals and whatever full game goal you get. Like, that really varies. There's a lot of nuance to how you play the game. So really love this game. Wingspan is just, it's a top spot for me, and probably will be for a long time.
Good choice. That's my number 4. All right. My number 4 is up 21 spots. It is a crossover with another game you mentioned in this list, and that is Aeon's End. Aeon's End is a fantastic cooperative deck building game where you are fighting the big boss and trying to win. And it can be really hard. The newer ones get harder and harder. But we really enjoy this. We think it's really fun. We like battling, and then if we lose, battling again, then we lose, battling again until we win. We like going through that and coming up with different strategies for using the market to buy different cards. And, it's a pretty straightforward deck builder, except you don't shuffle your cards, which we like a lot. Just a little more thought goes into how you discard. Yep. There are rules about it that you have to follow, but you can also do a little manipulation within those rules.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the art, we should mention, I really like the art because it doesn't follow very stereotypical gender norms. There's clearly, the gender expressions of the characters are varied. So you don't see what you see in a lot of fantasy, which is the,
very typical
busty women. I mean, nothing wrong with busty women, but but you know, that's all you get in some fantasy is like scantily clad busty women and huge, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger type He-Man, and this is really, really, really not that. And so I really love that about the game. I feel like there's somebody, characters for every person.
Yep. So I really love Anne's and a Bunch, and it's my number 4.
All right. My number 3 is new to the game, and
New to the game?
New to the game, new to the list, new to my list, and it's another Feld.
Wow.
It really is Feldfest.
It is Feldfest
Yeah,
today.
and it's Marrakesh.
Nice.
So, I mean, it has everything else. There's like 8, I think, different sections of the board. There's like a fig field or date field.
Got the best
There's
player
a
board ever.
caravansary. There's a square, like a
Yep.
town square where the entertainers go. There's a palace. There's a river where you fish. So there's like
madrasa.
a madrasa, right? So there's all of these different sections to the board, and each one does something a little bit different. Like I love the square, which is not really a square, it's more of a hexagon, and it's pink, which I love, where there are entertainers, but every time you go there, you get like resources, so it's always fun. But the action selection mechanism in this is that you start with these keshis, right? These little sort of octagonal barrels, and you've got one in every color, and the color of the keshi determines where it goes on the board. So the blue goes to the river, the pink goes to the square. It's not a square. Plaza, there we go, plaza. The white goes to the palace, etc. You pick a few, I think it's 3, right? And then you and everybody else drops them into a cube tower.
Yep.
And then whatever comes out, you pick all in that color. So if it's like 3 blue come out, you would take all 3 blue.
Yep.
And so they stick in there. So from round to round, you get more. It's a little bit less, it works less well with 2 people than I think it will with
We've
more.
thought of ways to maybe make it better.
Yeah. But it's still so interesting. It's so interesting, and the rest of the game just sings, even with that like slight annoyance of having the keshis come out in a weird way. But you know, it's just I love this game. It's beautiful. It's super satisfying. There's a ton of decision space in it. There's so many different paths to victory on the board. I think we played it a handful of times and sort of tried something a little bit different each time. This to me is most likely at number 3, my favorite Stefan Feld game right now. And it's wonderful. Yeah. So that is Marrakesh.
Good choice. My number 3 is my top game from one of our favorite designers, Uwe Rosenberg, and that is Caverna. Caverna is new to my list. It is, so Agricola dropped and Caverna went up because I just like I like the less tight game of Caverna, but all the similar choices and similar game style. I really like it a lot. You just got great choices, and you can play it on BGA. And so I really enjoy Caverna. You know, it's got the farming elements. It's got your mining. You're mining for gems. You can do gems. You can only get cattle with gems. So it's hard to get the cattle. There's also coins that you can spend. You got to feed your family, but this one's a little easier to feed your family in, I feel, than like Agricola. So I fail less often, especially in online play. I tend to be a little bit more lackadaisical about the details of making sure I feed my family in online play. So I never in person fail to feed my Agricola family, but in online play I sometimes do. And I'm like,
but your actual family.
Yeah, I don't feed them at all.
I'm really hungry right now.
So, but yeah, Caverna is just fantastic. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say, except that the master of farming games really nails it with Caverna, and I'm very happy with it.
That didn't even make my list, my top 100, which is...
What?
I know. I don't get that.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's right. I think
That's not right.
It's not right.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's a lie.
My number 3 game of all time is Caverna the Cave Farmers. I do want to mention that we did have the 2-player version of this, and we had played it, and we were not super impressed, and it did not blow us away. But then we played the full Caverna, which we weren't buying for the longest time because we're like, oh, we have the 2-player. Oh, we have the 2-player. We were blown away by it. So,
yeah.
Not that we didn't like the 2-player. It's just that it didn't blow us away the way the full game did.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. And obviously, I don't know why it's not in my top 100 because it probably is. But
yeah, well, these are. It's hard to be perfect with these lists.
Yeah, it is. All right. My number 2 is a crossover. I think you mentioned it already on this 10. You did, yeah. And it is On Mars.
Yes,
so
that was my number 10.
Yeah, my favorite Vital Lacerda game. I think you already said a lot about it, but I love the fact that that it's got that sort of that, you can only do these actions if you're in space. You can only do these actions if you're on the planet, and you've got to figure out where you're going to be. It's a Vital Lacerda game. It's like an economic game. I don't know why I can't think of anything else to say about it.
Well, I did talk about it for a bit. But yeah,
it's just so satisfying. I love it so much. Mm-hmm. Really, really amazing.
Very
game.
Complicated.
Very complicated. And you've got experts that you can hire, like cards that you can, that are scientists that you can get into play that help make your game a little bit more variable. Really, wonderful. Oh, you're wandering on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything.
A little bit of everything going on.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Wonderful.
So,
all right, that is my number 2, which is new to the list. I don't think we played it last time we did the. I know we didn't. And that is On Mars.
All right, my number 2 is up 1 spot, and it was mentioned by you not too long ago. And that is Edge of Darkness from John DeClaire. Love Edge of Darkness. You talked about it. Epic game. It's got a cube tower. It's got card crafting. It's got the river drafting, where you draft in the river. It's got your cards rotate through as monsters through your pile, through your opponent's pile. Really tricky. You really want to get your cards through your hand, but sometimes your opponents end up with them. It's just a whole thing going on. And it's just, you're trying to make your cards that you own and that you built as powerful as possible. The more powerful you make your cards, the more points they're worth at the end of the game. Worker placement. It's got worker placement too, because I didn't even mention that yet.
Right.
It's got so much. It's so good. And just a huge table presence. It does require all of your table. It's got a huge footprint, but we really enjoy it.
We really love this game. Yeah.
So it is definitely one of my favorites. And my number 2 game of all time, Edge of Darkness.
Can't wait to hear what's number 1. Actually, I don't know if you were mentioned it or not. I think I know what it is. Well, if you remember, when we started this whole journey, I said, you're going to be so shocked at my number 1, because I was shocked at my number 1. But it turns out it's a crossover with one of your games on this list, so I don't think you're going to be quite as shocked as I thought you would be.
Okay.
And that is the Great Wall of China.
Nice!
Freaking love this game. Oh my God. I love it so much. So let's, first of all, it is gorgeous. Yes, absolutely beautiful. The table presence is spectacular. You literally build your wall. So
and we do not have the miniature version, right? We
do.
Oh, we do?
We?
Okay.
I think so.
I thought we had the meeple version. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I don't remember now.
I don't know.
There's a miniature version and there's a meeple version.
Still has. I think we might have them. I don't know. It still has table presence, whether you have the meeple or the miniature, because you've got these. You build the wall. You literally build the wall three levels high as you go. It is spectacular. It is what?
I'm just making hand gestures.
Yeah, it is so much fun. There are so many things going on, and in case you haven't guessed, that's something we love in games, when there's like a lot of different pieces to it. So you're over here and it feels like one game. You're over here and it feels like another game. You're over here and it feels like a whole other game. So you've got this whole thing at the bottom where it's worker placement, but that's a whole decision space, because if you put it in one of the places where it's like green, you get to go no matter what. If you put it down at one of the resource collection spots, you have to make sure that it's full, or you don't get to go that turn. You don't get to harvest that wood or that stone. we're pretty nice. We kind of cooperate on this. Like, you gonna go there? We don't
try to fool each other.
Yeah, we don't try to fool each other.
You can try to do that here. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna go there, and then they go there thinking they're gonna get to go, and then you go, no, I'm going over here. Never mind.
Yeah, we don't do that. And some people might enjoy that, but we don't enjoy that.
No.
But I still enjoy. For me, though, that's a negotiation. Where are you going to go? Well, I wasn't planning to go there this turn. Okay, well, then I won't go there either. Like, that's still a decision space. It's just one that we're making together.
Yeah.
You can amp those up by sending soldiers to those areas, and then you get more out of it every time you go, right? There are cards, or I don't think they're called employees, but you get cards with like characters on them that do things, and that's a whole thing. You can change your game based on what those characters are, you know. And I've had some games that were entirely dependent on which cards I drew that gave me some crazy good power that helped me amp up that part of the game. And then all of that, which feels like its own sort of very complex Euro worker placement, fun resource management and strategy game. And then you got to go fight on top of that, which is also part of the calculus, is where you sending your soldiers. And you want to be the one that wins the battle so that you get the sort of the honor or the glory or whatever it is for winning. And so that's a whole calculus, is that we're all fighting together. We're going to try to make sure we kill that monster, and we really need to kill that. It's not a monster. It's like invading barbarians. Yeah. There are dragons in one version. Too, yeah. You know, you want to make sure you defeat the invading hordes. And so there's that, like, okay, well, nobody's over on that third barricade. We need to send somebody over there. We're all screwed. But you want to be the one that actually takes them down, because then you get the points and the glory and the accolades and whatever for that. So that's a whole thing, figuring out how to win. So much happening, and so beautiful. So beautiful. Love this game so much. It's a surprise. It was a surprise to see it in my number one spot, but it's really not when you think about it. It has everything I love in a game.
It was a surprise in the sense that I expected to like it. I had no idea I was going to like it as much as I did. Yeah, agree. It has all the elements that we love in a game, so it definitely belongs up there, but it has that little extra something. Like, every single piece of it is just a little bit extra excellent, which makes it my number one game right now. Good choice.
All time. And that is The Great Wall.
All right. Number 4, I said I lied. Yeah, I lied. Stefan Feld, number 1, Marrakesh.
Oh!
I forgot. I was like looking at my top 10, like, I don't see any Stefan Felds.
That's why you know about the madrasa. You looked it up too.
No, I just remember the madrasa. But I love this game. The player board is the most glorious player board I've ever experienced. Plus, it's multi-layer, which I love, and you know, but you're playing your catchies, as Jen already described a lot of it. Like we said, there's the cube tower. You drop the catchies in, they come out. You group together all the blues, all the purples, all the pinks, and then you draft, and you draft a color. So if there's 3 pinks, I can draft the pinks. Now maybe I really want the purples, but there's only 1 purple out, but I have to make that choice. The purple's what I really want. There's only 1 action out of it. There's 3 pinks, so I get 3 actions out of it. Well, I'm going to go for the pinks. So, and you have to be able to adapt to what comes out.
And I forgot about the center board. There's even a center board where you're climbing tracks.
And there's tracks, tracks on the center board. Love it. Just so much goodness and glorious. Now, notice that our top 10s are full of these extra games with a lot going on. And we do these are kind of our uber favorite kind of games. She said I'm extra. All right. So anyway, I'm extra.
You are extra wonderful.
But oh, that's sweet. So anyway, like I don't know what can be said that hasn't already been said. Marrakesh is fantastic. It's really the cream of the crop of Feld games. We have not been disappointed though with any of the Feld games in the City Collection series. We haven't backed them all. They're expensive, first off. But yeah.
We didn't love New York, but that's because of our style of play.
Yeah, because it was area control.
It's area control. Yeah, we don't really love. I mean, that's pretty much.
But we thought it was a good game.
Yeah.
So we weren't disappointed in the sense that we thought it was a good game. But we were disappointed in the sense that it wasn't our style game because we didn't research it before we bought it. Yeah. We don't always do that. Sorry, that's how we are. So anyway, my number one game of all time is Marrakesh.
All right. Well, two new top ones for us.
Yep.
Quite the surprise, but notice they were both in our top 10.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
That makes
sense. They were in both of our top 10s. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
We made it.
We did it. We went all the way to 1. So, what did you think? What do you think of our top 100? Our top 10 was particularly heavy compared to the rest of the list. So, I don't know, that may not have as much broad appeal, but let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Remember,
every day to your game
is a holiday.
Bye, everyone.